Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Duncan, host and creator of the TXK State of Mind podcast. I would like to welcome you to another exciting episode of TXK Conversations. Tonight, we will explore the intersection of education, community involvement, and popular culture in the Texarkana region. We will feature a discussion with Dr. Jennifer Davis, Director of Community Engagement at Texas A&M Texarkana. Our conversation will highlight initiatives aimed at advancing education and engaging the community. From innovative teaching methods to creative expressions inspired by pop culture, this show will celebrate the diverse ways in which Texarkana is shaping its future through education and community engagement. Dr. Davis, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much for having me this evening. Glad to be here.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's an honor to have you. Before we get started, I want to give you a chance to talk, before we get started talking about all the great things that you're doing over at Tamron T and all over Texarkana. I want to give you an opportunity just to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am a transplant to Texarkana Twice as Nice USA. I moved here 12 years ago from Denver, and I was finishing my program out in Denver with a master's in international and intercultural communication at the University of Denver. Let's go Pios. We just won the NCAA championship in hockey. My husband, now currently boyfriend and fiance at the time, Scott Phelps, was living in Denver with me. We met at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville. And he decided to come to Texarkana and take over a family business, downtown Logan Electric. So I came to Texarkana, and really the only realm that I wanted to really explore my career was education. I am a first-generation college student. I understand the impact that education can have. It can be transformative in lives. And so my background with international, I really wanted to work in some sort of international capacity, whether it be study abroad or international recruitment. And so I started at Texarkana College as a recruiter there. And then about 2 years later, Tony Favors recruited me to come over to A&M Texarkana. And I worked under his leadership for several years as a recruiter and global recruiter. And about 7 years ago, I became the Director of International Studies, which was a goal of mine to make sure to expand global mindsets within the community that I was a part of. And now I am here as Director of Community Engagement, also a mom to a wonderful 2-year-old, Mariana, and I'm just trying to make sure that I continue to be a contributing member to my society somehow, and I feel like the best way to do that is to be an advocate for education within our community.
That's great. You're the right person to be on tonight. So as Director of Community Engagement, what does your duties entail? What does the Director of Community Engagement do? What's your overall niche?
So overall, the goal is for me to facilitate critical relationships with constituents in our community, very diverse constituents, whether it be, small business or big industry sectors, or an individual that's just looking to learn a little bit more about what we can offer. I'm really the neighborhood liaison for A&M Texarkana, to make sure that we are providing symbiotic relationships, mutually beneficial relationships for our institution and our community, because we do understand as an institution that we are here for our community to make sure that we are advancing our community so that we can be efficient and sustainable in any of our goals as a collective unit.
Okay. You've been here for 12 years now. You're a transplant from Denver. You transitioned from Texarkana College now to A&M as the Director of Community Engagement. What changes have you seen on campus and within the Twin Cities community since assuming your role as the Director of Community Engagement? I know there's a lot of revitalization going on, and the campus in itself has grown from just being on Texarkana College's campus to now it's blowing up after I'm Brangle. So
yes,
that.
We are movers and shakers over here at A&M Texarkana. I can definitely tell you that the enthusiasm in our region and beyond for this university has grown immensely since I've assumed this position. And a lot of it has to do with new initiatives that are being pushed forward by our newest president, Dr. Ross Alexander. I know that a lot of the stuff that folks have been seeing has centered around some of our academic community partnerships that have been taking place. And that is something that I'm assisting with. There's many people involved. We have our wonderful staff in the president's office, in addition to our admissions recruitment team that helps facilitate the actual incoming students entering A&M Texarkana. But one of the things that Dr. Alexander realized coming to Texarkana as also a transplant is that this is a community. This is a place that people work together. They're friendly. They want to see people around them do well. And one of the things that he wanted to do as the new president of our institution is to make access to A&M Texarkana as easy and smooth as possible. And in order to do that, he really wanted to provide these educational opportunities to our local folks here, already here in Texarkana, to make sure that they're aware of the opportunities within our community so that they don't have to go elsewhere for these educational opportunities. So with the academic partnerships, we are partnering with several entities. I feel like our list is 20 plus, maybe 30 right now, of different entities within Texarkana and beyond. We're spreading our wings a little bit, but it started off with our immediate educational institutes here, like TISD, where you're a graduate of. We have LCISD, PGISD, Texarkana Arkansas School District, Texarkana College, UAHT. Those entities signed on first, where all of their full-time employees at those places of educational attainment, they are able to receive a tuition discount at our institution. They are able to receive a tuition discount towards any of our programs, any of our certificates, and they're able to do that smoothly. And so it is with these academic partnerships that started with our educational institutes. We've expanded it to different manufacturing sectors, different types of businesses like banks and hospitals, where several of these full-time employees at these places of business, they don't have to look elsewhere to pursue an advanced degree or pursue an advanced certificate. They can come to Texarkana, Texas A&M University, Texarkana, and receive a tuition discount for any of our programs, and our programs are growing, Jeremy. So that's one of the biggest things that I think has been very visible with our academic partnerships. We have, like I said, reached over 20, maybe 30 plus now different entities with these partnerships, and it builds the excitement that they're getting a discount to advance their profession and their lives.
That's great. I know I've been watching some of the segments that you guys been posting on Facebook when you develop a new partnership with the industry, especially the one you just spoke about with their staff being able to become get a tuition discount. And I think the things that you're doing, that the school is doing, the university is doing, that's also going to be a spur for different industry that wants to move into our area because they see already equipped workforce. The initiative that you guys are doing, that's going to spur the growth for additional industry and stuff that you see in the larger cities to be able to come in and be able to impact our community, not only just at the campus, but overall throughout the city. What has been the overall biggest impact that your office has not only just had on the campus community, but also within the actual Twin Cities community, surrounded area, with all the different initiatives that you guys are starting to implement?
Perhaps one of the biggest impacts, I'm trying to be impactful every day, Jeremy, but perhaps one of the biggest ones coming up is we are going to be launching a school of professional education and community engagement here at A&M Texarkana. And that is a big transition to making sure that we are staying on trend with the global educational marketplace, to make sure that we're providing resources to folks that may not necessarily be the traditional outlook of education. We're making sure that we have online availability. We're making sure that we have different types of credentials or certificates of value that can be stacked into degrees, because that is something that's very important to let folks know that you can do this piece by piece and we can get to that end goal. And then in addition, that's the professional education part. But in addition, we have that community engagement sector that comes with my office in particular, where there's a face that folks know they can go to and say, hey, I need this facilitated by A&M Texarkana. How can I make that happen? I'm the person that can make sure to connect them to the direct office here on campus that can make stuff happen for our community and for us as an institution to make sure that we're providing the resources that community needs. So with the new School of Professional Education and Community Engagement, that's going to hopefully be launching this fall, headed by Dr. Lisa Myers, who is amazing. She recently won a Wilbur Award for her community service. We are ready to rock and roll and make sure that we are providing the resources to, for example, all of these community partners that we have. If
Right.
any of their workforce needs to level up in any sort of professional development, we can create curriculum for that. We can launch that. We can make sure that folks within our industry sectors, education sectors are staying on par and on trend with the national market and the global market.
That's amazing. I was just talking with some of my colleagues a couple of weeks ago. I work with the VA, so we do a lot with vocational, trying to assist our veterans with getting retrained and into different fields. So a lot of the work that we do is trying to get them in those industry level certifications that can build on things, because a lot of, like, they're getting out, they're not really wanting just to sit in the traditional classroom setting. So those industry level certifications are some that are going to be a big draw for them, and as well as the student that is not going to just want to just go get like a full 4-year degree. Those certifications can assist them. So I'm really interested in seeing how this new department takes shape and be able to not only just impact the campus but the community as a whole. What are some of the challenges that your students are facing, the traditional students, and the really, since being in Texarkana, some of the non-traditional students that you're seeing coming into your campus? What are some of the challenges that you see that are going on, and how are you guys trying to meet those needs where those students are?
One of the challenges, of course, is the financial barriers. We
Right.
want to make sure that folks are aware of the financial assistance they can receive at A&M Texarkana. So in
Mhm.
addition, for example, to these academic partnerships that are geared towards full-time employees already in the workforce, whenever Dr. Alexander came on board, he also opened up scholarships for traditional students as well.
Right.
Graduating seniors, they are able to receive scholarships. There's also been more initiatives, for example, with our international student population, where they are able to receive a scholarship that will in turn allow them to pay in-state tuition.
That's amazing.
Huge. Oh my gosh, huge, Jeremy. Yes. And so that has led to, an increase in international student population on our campus as well. So we are very aware of the populations that we are wanting to have at A&M Texarkana. We're aware that there are financial barriers across all
Right.
populations. And so offering these different types of financial assistance programs helps out tremendously. Another thing that we've done recently, I know you had Jay Davis, the other Davis
Yes.
at A&M Texarkana, on recently. He is heading up our Center for Financial Literacy and Outreach. And that is huge, because that's something that's not necessarily only geared towards students of A&M Texarkana, but our community members. And
Right.
so he's making sure with his office and all the initiatives going on there that folks are able to be confident carrying out their everyday lives in terms of financial literacy, so that they can have that stability to hopefully move on to advance themselves in other ways, hopefully education.
Yeah, that's been great. I think all the different educational pieces that you guys are doing with your program, and I had Dr. Matthews on a couple weeks ago, and then with Jay when he's talking about the incubator, the assembly line that's coming in, that's going to be in the new old Discovery Place building. I think that's going to spur a lot of people wanting to go back and get retrained, so they become entrepreneurs, be able to get back and put their ideas to work in the community. And it's just, the things that you guys do must be really rewarding. So what are, personally for you, what's been the most rewarding thing about not only just working in the community, but being there and leading a charge to teach our students the importance of becoming servant leaders and being involved in the community and engaging in the community?
I think the most rewarding thing is the confidence I see from students, because, I've been here now working in higher education in Texarkana for 12 years, and it has
Right.
flown by. And seeing students that maybe I knew as a senior in high school 12 years ago, and now they're leading community initiatives,
Right.
or doing something amazing somewhere else. And just having that confidence that I see was attained through the educational transformation they received at A&M Texarkana has been tremendously rewarding. Another aspect that has been tremendously rewarding for me is as a first generation college student of a mother that was an immigrant, I used to be the director of international studies, and I was basically like a second mom to a lot of these international students that left their homes 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 miles away to come to Texarkana, twice as nice USA, to pursue that American dream, and then making their stuff happen and growing as a student leader on campus and shining out in the community, coming from different places like Nepal or Brazil or Ecuador, where my mother's from, and seeing them have that full American college experience here on our campus and me helping in some way has been incredibly rewarding.
Okay, that's great. Um, when you're doing your work in the community, is there any specific moment which has really inspired you to keep going, where you can just say, "This is why I do this. This is my passion."
I honestly, whenever I am a little bit older now, I'm 37, and I know that's not too old, but it is a world of difference from where I was at,
Right.
22 or 23. And so, for example, recently I know that you had We Are Washington on, and you
Yes.
had Jasmine Bruce, and I know Madeline also works over there. And Madeline was a representative from Total Medical Supply, where she also works on campus here. And she was just, at a meeting. And after the meeting, maybe a week or so later, she was talking in front of people and she was talking about how at ease I made her,
Right.
and it was something that I just noticed that she was a little bit nervous, at the event that we had. So I was like, hey, like, come with me. Like, we're going to meet these folks. It's going to be great. And those types of things, whenever I was younger and folks did that for me, I don't know if I ever like let them know the impact, but just to see like a little bit of ease, me allowing another young woman to have a little bit of ease being out here in the world
Right.
working was very impactful. And that was something just recent that popped into my head, Jeremy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. I just this afternoon I just went over to Cross Ties to donate something for their silent auction they're getting ready to have tomorrow,
Yes,
and the work that they're doing with that youth in that community center is like above board. They're doing all these great things to try to help those young people have a better life. And I look at them, like I look at Jasmine and I look at Madeline and I look at the program you have. And then we talked a little earlier about my daughter. What are some of the things that the university is doing in partnership with the city to keep these young people here? Because we have some really bright minds that are coming out of that university system, coming out of our school system. They may go off to University of Arkansas or Henderson or UCA. But how do we draw them back in to the community so they can be able to contribute what they've learned on the college level and be able to contribute that to the revitalization of our community? I know that revitalization you talked about is a big passion for you. So how do we bring those young people back in, those Madeline, Jasmine's of the
absolutely.
world, to stay in the community?
Those two ladies are perfect examples. I am so excited to see them
Right,
enthusiastic about advancing the community that they came from. They both went off and then they both
right,
came back, and that's something that we're trying to first keep our high school students here with some of our
right,
new scholarship initiatives. Also, we're adding a lot more sports. Like,
right,
we're having an esports arena built on the fourth floor of this building that I'm in right now that should be done by the end of summer. So those are things that we're trying to build to help create an atmosphere for our high school students to see A&M Texarkana as the next step. But outside of that, for folks that, do move off or have moved off and they are thinking about coming back to Texarkana, I say go for it. Let's make
right,
it happen, okay? Because I know that there's always a lot of negative talk about your hometown, no matter
mhm,
where you're from, okay?
right,
But your hometown, really had a lot of support to build you to where you're at now. Okay.
Exactly.
And so why not give back to something that you have a sense of comfort in, but also you have a sense of optimism that that community can grow to something even better than you could have even imagined. And
Right.
so with our different initiatives at A&M Texarkana that helps build different types of structures within our community, like the big event, for example, Eagle Pride
Right.
Citywide that just happened. That's something that is very intentional from the
Mhm.
A&M system, that we're trying to make sure that we're visible in the community and folks know that we want to advance it. And our students are out there doing the work. And for example, We Are Washington signed on as one of our site visits for the last one. So that was great, where we're able to help with these different types of initiatives. But with, for example, the School of Professional Education and Community Engagement, a
Right.
lot of these different opportunities of stackable credentials or certificates of value, those are different things that folks that may already have a bachelor's degree could come back to Texarkana. They could pursue either in person or online, and then give back to the community that provided that educational initiative for them.
That's amazing. Because that's one of the things that we thought about when we relocated back here in August. I grew up here, attended Grimm Elementary, with the Dunbar Elementary, graduated from Pine Street. Then I graduated from Texas High in 1995. And there's always been a draw for me to want to come back and be able to give back to the community that groomed me, because I was able to experience and be mentored by some really great educators, some really great community leaders. And my focus now is to be able to come back and be able to contribute in a more positive way. And I see that with Texarkana, Arkansas's decision to bring in one of their own graduates to serve as their superintendent with Lloyd. And I think that's going to be like a great turning point for them, because he was groomed there, he was educated there, he went out into the world and did these great things, and now he's back to contribute what he's been taught and learned to help make those students over there have a greater opportunity. So I think a lot of the things that are going on, you're right, people don't really look at all the positives that in the city. You hear a lot about what Texarkana is not, but what about all those things that Texarkana is that can make us back to where we were? I know I talked to you. We grew up here, and as a child growing up, Texarkana was a pretty thriving place. And I think with the level of expertise with people like yourself and Jay and Dr. Matthews, and of course Mayor Brueggemann and the city council, um, for the different wards, especially on both sides with the city manager of Texarkana, Arkansas, we're going to be able to get back to that level and bring back the level industry for the skilled workers, as well as the education opportunities for the academics that want to be able to go get those professional level degrees. One thing you talked about earlier is talked about leveling up. Um, One of the things that I've been researching with my job is like looking at how we can get those industry level things to help our veterans advance. And I've looked at Amazon, and I looked at some of the things that Walmart is doing, and they have this thing called skilling up, where they're implementing those different skills within their overall structure to train those staff and associates to be able to advance from where they are into higher level positions in that organization or business. Do you guys play any role with those different industry, whether it be Cooper or Tex Americas, to do those skill up projects with those businesses?
Jeremy, great question, because that is, going to be a significant component of the new School of Professional Education and Community
Okay.
Engagement. We are going to be very intentional throughout the next couple months of reaching out to our academic partners that are already on board with the tuition discount. We
Right.
want to expand our MOUs, our memorandums of understanding, to make sure that these partnerships have different levels to them. And
Right.
part of that will be to skill up their employees. We are going to be a resource in the community and the region for any industry that would like to skill up their employees. We just need to know exactly, not necessarily exactly, but kind of the vibe that you're wanting to
Right.
have, or maybe the specific skill that you're wanting them to increase their efficiency in or proficiency in. And we will develop curriculum to help train the workforce. And we
Right.
also are going to be partnering with different entities nationally to have curriculum available here in Texarkana for our industries. And so that is something that we are definitely going to be doing, and we are extremely excited about doing that for our immediate community and our region. One thing that we did just recently with the folks on the leadership team at Tri-State Iron and Metal Company was conduct executive leadership training for them, Dr. Myers and myself, at a recent retreat. So that was something recent that we had done, but it's something that we hope to expand more into with different industries and businesses here in Texarkana, and then also cater specialized curriculum for anything that these industries are looking for.
That's great. I know one of the initiatives that they're doing on the federal side with just within our system, they're starting to train us on AI, artificial intelligence. So, because, a lot of the stuff may be moved towards that direction, but you still need a human body to be able to manage that AI, those different AI components. So I'm looking forward to see all the different skill up initiatives that's going to happen in the community. I have two more questions for you. And these are kind of just ballpark to kind of look at your crystal ball and your vision for what the community can be. First thing is, what does community mean to you, and what makes a great community?
Okay, great question. So community means to me where, I feel included, where I feel like I can thrive, where I feel like I can have support. That is what community means to me. And then what was the second part of your question?
And what makes a great community?
What makes a great community? I feel like trust and enthusiasm. Those two things can make a great community. If we can trust that the folks are making the best decisions for the advancement of us as a whole, then that's something that we can lean in on and make sure that we already have that foundation where we know that this is for something that's going to benefit us, And then also enthusiasm. Jeremy, I'm an enthusiastic individual. Okay?
Right.
And that can go a long way, man. Okay. And so, for example, I know recently in the community, if you've been following social media, I think it's called TXK is another new organization that's popping out with some great leaders making up the board. And so that is a group that already has enthusiasm, and I can't wait to see what they do with it. And so that's something that you can see that there's the foundation of trust with that group already. And there is a, increased level of enthusiasm as well. And I think those two things can advance community initiatives greatly.
I think we were mute.
Oh no.
Can you hear me still?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Well, and then I really appreciate you for coming on. This has been a really great opportunity to meet with you. It seems like I've gotten everyone at Texas A&M to come on my podcast, from you to Jay to Dr. Matthews. So it's been a really great time to get an opportunity to meet with you and talk with you about what's going on with the community and how the university is playing a major role in that. You guys are really doing some great things, and hopefully I could be able to come out and talk with you guys once your School of Leadership and Professional Development gets started, to kind of see how everything's going to roll from there, and either come out and just visit you on campus. So again, I'd like to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you and being able to engage with you tonight.
Thank you so much.
And that's pretty much it. I really, again, just thank you. I always tell people that my ultimate goal for this platform is to be able to showcase all the great things and the great people that are doing the work to help Texarkana ascend to great heights. And I think you're playing a great role in that, and I think the university as well, and of course Texarkana College and as well, University of Arkansas, Texarkana Hope, all the different things that they're doing with workforce development to train our people in our community to be able to go out and do the things that they need to do to care for their families through their employment and their education. So again, I'd like to thank you, and I appreciate your time for coming on. Texarkana, this has been another great episode, and next week we'll be starting our latest edition. I'm going to go out and do food reviews. They're not going to be anything bad. I'm going to go out and talk to different eateries around the community, coffee shops, new businesses that are coming in, so you can see all the different food offerings that's going on in the community. I know we have a lot of foodies in the city, so I'm going to be able to bring you my take of the little things I can still eat, what you can expect when you visit these different things. So as always, What's your TXK state of mind? Thank you.